So I heard a rumor that you are looking for some true paranormal and ghost stories. I mean, isn't that why you clicked on this video, you wild, wonderful weirdos like me? Well, let's dive in. Hello, my spooky friends. Yes, I know. Oh, I haven't had as many videos out. Scully, and I'm blaming it on you. Yes, I am. I'm just having computer problems, like major disturbances. And I think that it has something to do with the activities that Scully has had when I'm asleep on the computer. Now, I'm not accusing, or am I? Anyway, I'm trying to get them resolved. So that's why my videos are a little slower. But let's dive in to true paranormal stories, ghost stories told by you, my subscribers. Okay, this one is by Patricia Reinhold. I was in my early 20s when this happened. I lived in a basement apartment. I was in bed as it was barely light out. I heard a scuffling sound in the closet and attributed it to my cats playing in the closet. My bed was one of those old fashioned beds with steel springs inside of a box spring. Very comfortable. Falling back asleep, I thought I heard footsteps coming out of the closet. Uh oh. I came awake and felt the springs go down on the bed. Wide awake now, I sat up, but nothing was there. It was then that I heard a deep, gravelly voice saying, "I've got you now." Okay, I'm out of that room. I am right out of that room. See ya. I swear to you, I could feel the blood in my arms go freezing cold. I jumped out of that bed like I was on fire. Yes, girl, you go. Get out of there. Ran up the stairs and flung the door open and ran down the street to my parents' house. I woke them up and said I'd tell them all about it when they woke up later. Then they went back to bed, and although I laid down on the couch, I did not go back to sleep. I later learned that the house was an old farmhouse that had been moved to town decades before. Needless to say, moved pretty quickly after that. Look, I feel you. It makes me wonder, is there something about moving houses? Because this particular house, Avalon Cottage, is not only haunted, for those of you who didn't know, and it was also moved from town into the rural spot that I am now. It makes me wonder now, is there something about moving the house that stirs the unseen world? I don't know. Or was there just something here before? Because my land was a farm before they moved the house in, too. So it's a little woo woo. But yes, definitely. I don't know. I think there'd be full fledged war if something said, "I've got you now." But yeah, I definitely would have got out of that bed and probably started screaming. Wow, that is a scary story. But Patricia has another one. My mom had a younger sister, Nellie, she hadn't seen in many years. We were fortunate enough to have not only located her, but had a reunion for not only my mother and her long lost sister Nellie, but with their older sister Grace too. Oh. Sadly, Aunt Nellie passed away from esophageal cancer just 4 years later. I had kept in constant communication with Aunt Nellie. She actually passed right on my birthday. Well, we were getting ready to drive to Ohio for the funeral, so I had packed and gone to bed earlier. My husband got off work, and when he was coming to bed, he thought I was at the foot of the bed and had gotten up to use the bathroom. He put his arm out to let me know he was there, but his arm went through the figure. To this day, he thinks it was my Aunt Nellie coming to say goodbye. Well, I sure hope it was Aunt Nellie. We're going to go with that. Yes, it was Aunt Nellie. Seriously though, if you haven't had any other paranormal experiences like that or some other entity that you've been dealing with, then there's a good chance it was. We have so many stories about people who pass and relatives see them kind of on their way out. They stop by. I wonder if there's a time limit on that. Like, does the death angel just say, okay, you've got 5 minutes to say goodbye and you have to like go to as many people as you can? Or, can you just take your time? I don't know. Again, things that we need to know to prepare for the afterlife, but nobody wants to tell us, okay? Apparently, we do a lot over there, according to these stories, right? Okay, this next one comes from Wise Coconut. My son was born by a C section, and I had been home only a few days when the following event occurred. And let me tell you, this is more of a paranormal angel story, maybe? In those days, our back door lock would often spontaneously lock when we went out the back door. So we kept a key on a nail right by the door frame just in case we got locked out. On this day, with my C section wound still fresh and raw, I laid my son in his crib to take out the trash to the bin by the back fence. It was an easy chore and would just take a minute as the bins were close. As I knew would happen, the lock engaged as soon as the door shut behind me, but I wasn't concerned because the key was on its nail. So I reached for the key and accidentally fumbled, and the key went flying. I saw it slip between the wall and the heavy oak bench by the back door. I looked and could see the key back against the wall, about half the way down the length of the bench. With a new abdominal, this was a problem. Oh, I know. I've had a C section. Yeah, move in, bend it, and stretch. No, it's not going to happen. I could neither move the bench nor crawl under it to retrieve the key. Nevertheless, I still had a bag of trash to take out to the bin. I decided to complete my chore, then figure out what to do. I contemplated my options as I walked the few feet to the trash bin, but no option would be easy. The back gate to the front yard drug the ground, and so I couldn't open it. I could get the back gate open, and then I would have to walk around the block to my front door and hope it was unlocked. Maybe the mailman would be around soon? My panic was rising as I returned to the back door and tried to listen for my son. Oh, that's terrible. Like to be locked outside and your baby is on the inside. Oh my gosh. He was a premature infant and I was very worried for him. But as I arrived at the back door again, a bright glimmer caught my eye. There, dead center on the mat, lay the back door key. I had an angel helper that day. I will never forget it. I hope you enjoy this tale. Well, I most certainly did. And let me tell you something. I also had a angel key incident. Y'all, this was back a few years ago. I had one of the new Beetles and it had a key that would just like flip up. You'd hit a button, it would flip up. Well, they're, I don't know, some kind of laser cut key, and they are like $350, or they were back then. And that was a lot of money that I did not have. So I was going to do some errands one day, and I get out to the car and I have the door open, but I'm standing outside and I push the button, the key flips up and it flies. It like breaks in half spontaneously and it falls. Well, I figured it couldn't be that far, right? I looked in the grass, looked under the car, looked like even moved the car, went several feet on, the side where it went. I mean, it was bright sunlight. So, yeah, it would glimmer in the sun. My yard wasn't that high, so I could see easily, but I still got down on my hands and knees and I'm crawling everywhere looking for this key. And so I am just devastated because I know I can't even pull out of the driveway. And I lived very, very rural. I did not know how I was going to get my car fixed. I already knew the cost of a replacement key, and I thought that's not an option. I literally do not have the money at all. Can't even find it somewhere. Plus, the time it would take to have it redone. I mean, I couldn't go to work or anything. So I went back to my bedroom and I laid on my bed, just, almost in tears. And I was praying, God, please, please do something. Let an angel find my key and return it. I don't know why. I don't know why I asked that, but I'm like, the angels, how busy are they? Surely you could spare one to find my key. So after a few minutes, I go back out to the yard and I'm again crawling on my hands and knees, going out further. Maybe it just flung further out into the yard, right? Something. And so I look everywhere. I broaden the scope and I mean, I'm out there forever looking and I realize I am never going to find this key. So I go back to my room. I laid on my bed. Now, right beside my bed, there was a dresser. And all of a sudden, I heard something like make a noise on the carpet. And I'm laying there and I'm like, what is going on? And I sat up and I looked over on my floor. And there is the other half of my key on my bedroom floor when I literally saw it break and fly into the grass. Now, tell me that wasn't a miracle. I know it was. So thank you very much. I totally believe your story. All right, but she has one more. Now, she recently sent me another email and she said, right now, my husband and I are in Mexico on our sailboat. Oh my gosh. Sailboat sounds wonderful. Trust me, it is not luxurious. Hey, it's a boat. This is winter vacation for poor people. Hey, I'm all in. In fact, we don't even have a shower on our boat and we have to use the public shower at the marina. I could live with that. That is exactly where we were this morning. Like always, I was just allowing random thoughts to slip through my mind as I showered. Suddenly, I recalled some viewer tell about finding pennies as a communication from a deceased loved one. I know that my grandmother watches over me, but she has never sent me any cash. Huh, dollars. Dollars. As I got out of the shower, I noticed a little copper colored circle right next to my tote bag. Oh, wow, look at that, I thought, and hurried to check it out. This is Mexico after all, and a penny would be remarkable. I bent down to check it out and realized the copper circle was really just one of those little coin bandages. I haven't seen a bandage like that, but okay. In a way, that makes sense. Grandma had been a nurse. I hope you enjoyed this story. Look, all jokes aside, it's not about the amount of money, it's about an object. For some people, it's feathers or other things that they feel like their loved ones are sending to them, letting them just to let them know that they're okay. So, yes, do I believe that was your grandmother? Absolutely. And I don't know if it hadn't been in a little, gold circle and you hadn't been thinking about that. I don't know that you would have even noticed, right? Because you already had pennies on the brain. I'm thinking, Grandma never sends me anything. All right. I hope you enjoyed these stories. I have more. Keep sending them in, okay? And if you sent me a story a long time ago and I haven't read it out, then send it again. Sometimes things get buried. I do have a lot of stories from you all, but there are never enough stories. The more stories I have, the more videos I can do. So, see, if you want to see more videos, then you share your stories. What did you think about that, Scully? Oh, he likes the penny story. I do too. It's really sweet. All right. I hope you have a great rest of the week. Whatever you do, watch out for those pennies from heaven and stay spooky. Bye bye.